Yamakwa Baba de Likee TV na message send na oba channel isu anwa hit adoma no subscribe no like se me drop any latest news content obeje bre na wonso onsa so atumi akabi na ye bora ensem no ma tifo ewiazu yi ade a ya pa se obi bebie na no aka se uye immature ewo ne mebim ana se na no ebetra wasa de no ne nyina aye Supreme Court Torkornoo justice Torkornoo ho nsɛm na ɛkam yɛsisi de Ghana ha obia de na no atum sɛ maame ade a wɔyɛ die unim pa sɛ 1+1 yɛ 2 nanso 1+1 ode 3 pa na akɔhyɛ wei enti ama eze no omu the way omusi mehyɛ maame that like omusi yɛ maame no pa no ano den sɛ me sure say okoda dwene ho a na rebe ho papa because we the majority of Ghanaians na anu egu ne so na does to change the so-called MPP for ni be a defender and all even though MPP for ni be crash as criticize no the constitution yen touch no oh you see any ato ma no say we immatured ke kan sem kire wo ete for you mum do biente sem no na nsimbu ha otekora obende
the kase emrani for the ukumha ya judge for true omuni emrano ebetimi ade emrano so aye adwuma na Ghana for mo atowon me sanso gidi say 1992 constitution problem ye ni ho ebetimi ama judge aye niema bi a ense empata na mmom na ewom ne say Chief Justice our Chief Justice I think that we are emotionally immature and I say we are politically induced and on ama tabi we na esi because me dem say omo kono she free or emma the posturing of the Chief Justice, the conduct, the utterance tells you, sir, she's not just politically biased, but there is something that influences her more than just being emotional to be biased. There's something that fundamentally goes to her heart to influence her not to give the people of Ghana justice. A time will pass. Another Chief Justice will come. So I have hope that one day we'll clear the mess. If be another Chief Justice, Justice Torkornoo, Bonensembia Wedino, and also no person or Katakataso. That's why she will take this posturing. Because even said, on a President Akufo-Addo Boshepa, and Nema or Oyeno. Because to land us in this avoidable, insane constitutional crisis, pretending to be the one trying to cure it, it's not just distasteful, but it's needless. I thought that someone speaker at the application call Supreme Court for them to review their decision was going to be an opportunity for the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court to reflect on their own judgment, compare public outcry, and amend the status quo. But because Speaker Lawyer Eka said Justice Dewu, MPP means Chief Justice will put in no command that judgment. Near SC Parliament again. an issue of lack of application of wisdom and common sense on the part of Akroma. And I will say that without apology. Arrogance and pomposity have never solved any problem. Yenim said anyansapo power MPP. We know. But the type of Akroma are not the ones to drive the boat of MPP. And Kaya Wafa Osei Mensa Bonsu. If you are still the leader of a majority or minority today, or the leadership of MPP, we will not get close to this crisis. Here, we have 2 months to election. One month for and one more across the carpet. Every party, a independent contest. Whether or not the Constitution has any viable interpretation which is addressable at the Supreme Court, there is an available approach of wisdom managing the other side of the divide. Managing political partners. Meaning, one of the sole responsibilities of national security is to be able to bring containment of adversaries against the establishment. One, either through a diplomatic means or through some other covert or overt means. The same way, it goes to the root of legislature. Said, when there is entrenched division, you use the back door to manage the other side. Look, we have had a situation where NPP, first of all, passed a bill. I'm just saying, he led you there. And apparently, the issue directly said, Ma obi adabi na confirmation of ministers over kaya. The issue directive said woman disqualify women. The NPP leadership at the time was able to manage the other divide so much that some NDC MPs even supported the approval of those ministers. Some ran up in your market or a deputy, a majority leader. So he didn't learn on the job. He rather chose arrogance. He rather chose to be disrespectful. Meanwhile, your market is nobody. Then someone a good table. So you have to here. With the greatest of respect to leadership, your market is nobody. Now what would you have?
But I then we can say on you be no one fast answer when I on you be answer same
I just want to reiterate to say the things I know about him. He should turn down.
But where your personal attacks. So wouldn't be before Sir, wouldn't be before be one. And only on the personal grounds. It is saying say on you be I would disallow whoever. Be describe who Mustafa say who you be and yakasa me did say one radiogenic and now bet me I can't be. You see?
For the sake of our listeners, I will withdraw.
But that's it.
But let me state that Akroma is to pay any speaker bagbe. And I'm to pay. It's not his equal. The NDC will not abandon the Speaker of Parliament today. We will not abandon the Speaker of Parliament tomorrow. Now who are the other side who control government business? Now we say there are very important issues that government must table for approval before Parliament go on recess or final sitting. Look at the approach. You go to radio station and insult the Speaker in whose chamber you are a ranking, you are a wing member, a wing leader. How can you come back to him to get him to do the bidding of government? It is when arrogance is choosing over common sense and wisdom. That is where we have some of these things. Number two, number one offer say, party for no circulate speaker bargain for the 4.2 million Echo Hospital. I mean, what kind of disrespect is this? The president of Ghana, His Excellency Nanado, on Ghana Post Cancer Hospital. On Ghana Post Cancer Hospital. Onumpo Yetiha, and Wonua or Young Penny, Etimico rented private jet during COVID. Has somebody removed him? Has somebody accused him? So when the NPP does not have its way in common sense, it must resort to the use of abuse and coercion. Let me give them the assurance that they should continue on that tangent. But when they start it on that tangent, the NDC will not hold back because the Nimuniama ever woman penny will release it. We don't stop. We don't stop in this country. And Niama Yenimpa abide with me. I keep saying that when we put it out, the government will collapse. It will affect our governance in this country. So when you know in your heart that you haven't lived a good behavior, you learn to be very humble. You think overly having an influence, emotional influence over a judge makes you a strong man. It doesn't. It doesn't. And let me tell Apenyo Market to revert to wisdom and the use of common sense. There's no problem in Parliament. And we cannot use law to address foolishness. We can't. Since to a parliamentary, look, they have had disagreements. He will stand publicly and he will address the speaker. Meanwhile, they are best friends. He manages the other side of the divide to ensure that government business is going on. LGBTQ contractor we about Parliament or no obetimia control niema. He resort to arrogance and anger, and all of us as a nation to support Sans and Pui. So because of that, Unkofa will be area himself ever can one thing. And then if only MPP movie. And as upon the MPP movie. Where lies wisdom for us to get to this place where Apenyo markets have been allowed to hold government business and the MPP to ransom with arrogance, disrespectful posturing? Who is he? When you have influence, now you're judge.
Mustafa, they are walking. Mustafa, Bande, boyo. Me say, Afanyo Maki and Wokana Semia, who is he? Nominee Adie. Adie non Tiasi on the Aquacodan Supreme Court. And now the Supreme Court also, Wamoso Akasa. Sir, Adie no say, maybe that one Tiasi, Supreme Court Yani Edebeko. Menya sure say, Bia, Anna, in some of the cafe speaker, Baby and Honona, hard on.
No, it's very disrespectful. Sabi.
Well, disrespect is Speaker Bagbe.
Sabi, Nanado, President. No. Everybody in the MPP in the Jubilee House knows how much I love President Akufo-Addo. But I think he's a failure. But we still respect him. And we honor him as such. Now, Apenyo Mark is waiting. And you have put deep opinion to we are them. Meanwhile, you are under him. You can't be Nanado, you need to party. And I say, we have government business to run. The government has things to pass through Parliament. And you think by insulting the Speaker and denigrating him, you can get your way. Can Apenyo Markins use the Supreme Court to run Parliament? It's not possible. It's not possible. I am more disturbed when we can use common sense to solve a problem. And people are running, using other means other windows to further frustrate the system. MPP near. MPP now am about saying. Has the MPP become so deficient of knowledge so much that somebody cannot hold opinion marking to stop his posturing? MPP in 2012, 2013, Eben 2008, you branded MPP to look very intellectual. And now when you mention MPP to anybody, you don't get that feedback because of people and characters like Apenyo Markin, Uba Dabain, or Parliament Dabain. What is his achievement in life? What has he impacted on this nation that you feel he's so important that you can insult people and we should sit back and watch you? When we know you are wet, when we know Apenyo Markin is wet, he thinks we doesn't know the things he does in this country. He thinks we don't know. When we try to manage the political landscape, it doesn't mean that we don't know or we are afraid. Can we sit down and allow somebody to undermine the Speaker of Parliament the way he does? Hey, what do you mean? Can someone say to the Speaker of Parliament where you are a minority or a majority holder? Also, it is spiritually not fit for you to sit in the seat of the minority of Parliament and not the leader of Parliament.
Yedamase Samoje Breso Daily Update TV no.